Chapter 4. What the fourth mouse, who spoke before the third, had to say. I went at once to the largest town, she said. I don't recall the name of it. I have such a bad memory for names. From the railway station I was carried with some confiscated goods to the courthouse, and from there I ran to see the jailer. He was talking about his prisoners, and especially about one who had spoken rashly. One word led to another. About these words, other words had been spoken, read, and recorded. The whole business is soup from a sausage peg, said the jailer, but it is a soup that may cost him his head. This gave me such an interest in the prisoner, the little mouse went on to say, that I watched my chance and darted into his cell. For there is always some mouse hole behind every locked door. The prisoner looked pale. He had a big beard and big, brilliant eyes. His lamp smoked up the cell, but the walls were so black that you couldn't get any blacker, and the prisoner whiled away the time by scratching drawings and verses in white on his black background. I didn't read them, but I believe he found it dull there, for I was a welcome guest. He tempted me out with crumbs and whistling and pet words. He was glad to see me, won my confidence, and we became fast friends. We shared his bread and water, and he treated me to cheese and sausage, so I lived well. However, I would say that it was chiefly for his good company that I stayed with him. He let me run up his hand and arm onto his sleeve, and climb in his beard. He called me his little friend, and I really liked it, for friendship is a two-sided thing. I forgot my mission in the wide world, and I forgot my sausage peg. It was lying there, still in the crack in the floor. I wanted to stay with him, for if I had gone away, the poor prisoner wouldn't have had a friend in the world. That would not be right, so I stayed. But he did not stay. He spoke to me sadly for the last time, gave me a double ration of bread and cheese, and blew me a parting kiss. Then he went away and never came back. I don't know what became of him. Soup from a sausage peg, the jailer had said, so I went to see him. But he was not to be trusted. He took me up in his hand right enough, but he popped me into a cage, a treadmill, a terrible machine in which you run around and around without going anywhere. And besides, people laugh at you. The jailer's grandchild was a charming little girl, with curls that shone like gold, such sparkling eyes and such merry lips. "Why, you poor little mouse," she said, as she peeped into my ugly old cage. She drew back the iron bolt, and out I jumped to the window-sill, and from there to the rain-spout. I was free. Free! That was all I thought of, and not the purpose of my journey. It was almost dark. Night was coming in, and when I established myself in an old tower, already inhabited by a watchman and an owl, I didn't trust either of them, and the owl least of all. It is like the cat, and has the unforgivable vice of eating mice. But one can be mistaken, as I was, for this old owl was most worthy and knowing. She knew more than the watchman, and as much as I did. The young owls were always making a fuss about everything. "Don't try to make soup out of a sausage peg," she told them. And she had such tender affection for her own family that those were the hardest words she would say. Her behaviour gave me such confidence in her that from the crevice where I hid I called out, "Squeak!" My trust in her pleased her so that she promised to take me under her protection. No animal would be allowed to molest me, and she would save me from winter time when food ran short. She was wise in every way. That watchman, she told me, can only hoot with the horn that hangs by his side. He is vastly puffed up about it, she declared, and thinks he's an owl in a tower. I begged her to give me the recipe for this soup. But she explained to me that soup from a sausage peg is only a human expression. It means different things, and everybody thinks that his meaning is the right one. But the real meaning is nothing at all. Nothing at all, I squeaked. Well, that was a blow. Truth isn't always pleasant, but truth above all else. The old owl said so too. Now that I thought about it, I clearly saw that if I brought back what was above all else, I would be bringing something much better than soup from a sausage peg. So I hurried back to be home in time and to bring back the best thing of all, something above everything else, which is the truth. We mice are an enlightened people, and the Mouse King is the most enlightened of us all. He is capable of making me his queen for the sake of truth. Your truth is false, said the mouse, who had not yet had her say. I can make the soup, and I intend to do so.